why there is only one depiction of Mahaparinirvana on the entire site of Ajanta? It is depicted only in cave number 26. No other depiction is found on the entire site. Why it is so?
Yeah, it is true that the Parinirvana image is really unique at Ajanta. And in the whole of India, it is one of the rarest of depictions of the Parinirvana theme, which is there in cave number 26. And this was done in late 5th century. And prior to this depiction, we have not found many examples. Just a handful of examples may be there, but they are also in North India. But as far as the case of Dakshinapati is concerned, that is the Deccani caves, until this date, it was really a unique depiction. And even in Ajanta, in Buddhabhadra's cave, we have this depiction over here, and it is a very large depiction. It's not a small kind of insignificant thing. No, it's been given very, very prominent significance because it's such a huge, almost, I don't remember correctly, but it's 26 feet or something like that. It's a large depiction. The interesting thing is that this Mahaparinirvana depiction is profuse in Central Asia. In Kucha caves, for example. This is a typical theme. Parinirvana theme is a typical theme in the so-called central pillar caves over there. Here I will not talk about central pillar. What is central pillar? Because also there are some central blocks here. They were experimented in some of the caves, and those central blocks were created for the defining the shape of the stupa, the carving of the stupa when they were created centaurum. So first they created the central block of stone, and from that the stupa, it was easy for them to keep the shape of the stupa. So it was a very functional and procedural process, and this idea was invented right here. But interesting part is that this central block was transported later on to Kucha. And so there were a lot of traffic of ideas between these places. And Mahaparinirvana depiction is one of those themes which was in this cross current of ideas. Now, how this came to Ajanta, I have a theory on this. I have done last 2 or 3 years of research, and my latest 2 works has been published in 2020. And one work is called The Periodization of Rock Cut Monuments. It's a small monograph. And another work is called Kingin versus the Buddhist Caves. Both of these small monographs have been published this year. In those 2 monographs, I have proposed certain ideas based on a complex corpus of evidence. Now, the evidence which I found was that there was a disturbance in the greater Gandhara region, which began in 465 AD, when the Hephthalites attacked the Alchon Huns and displaced the Alchon Huns from the greater Gandhara region. So these people were fighting among themselves. There were 4 migrations of the Huns: the Khidarites, the Alchons, also called sometimes Alkhan, the Hephthalites, and the Netsai. So in the Hunic studies, these are now well-known names. Out of them, these Alchon Huns, they came to India. And they started according to my study, they started invading the Gupta Empire, the north of India, right from the 447 AD. But at that point of time, Ajanta was not begun. Ajanta began in 460 AD. So what happens? What happens that in 465 AD, when there was this disturbance in the Greater Gandhara region, so Buddhist monastics from Greater Gandhara, they start fleeing, and they came towards the Deccan because it was very safe. At that point of time, it was a very, very safe region. There was no safety anywhere else, because on the west of the Gandhara and Bactria, you had other Huns. They were invading the Roman Empire. Then China was also very much disturbed. So these Alchon Huns, they came here. And all the Buddhists from Bactria to Afghanistan and Pakistan, modern Pakistan region and Kashmir region, they started migrating towards India, and North India was already under invasion. So they could not have settled in North India. But this is a forest belt, right from Saurashtra up to Amarkantak. This entire Narmada region was a forested area, and tribals were living here. Still tribals are living here. But it was the tribal population, and the forestation was much more greater than it is today. So when these monastics came from there, they took shelter in Bagh, which was the excavation of Bagh caves had begun in 460 AD. The excavation of Ajanta caves had begun in 460 AD. Both these places, Bagh caves in Malwa, in the ancient times it was known as Valkha, and this was known as Rishika. And on the above Ghat you have Mulaka or Ashmaka region. So here also they came. So when they came with the Mool Sarvastivad scriptures, which was written in Sanskrit. They were image worshippers. They had a pantheon of the Buddha. They had avadanas. They did not have jatakas. They were not the worshippers of the stupa, although they did not have a problem with the stupa, but they were predominantly image worshippers. Image cult at that point of time, and we are talking about 467 AD or 468 AD. At that point of time, when they come to Bagh and when they came to Ajanta in this region, it was all Harisena's empire. Even Bagh was within Harisena's empire. This is my latest chronological timeline, which I have proposed in my recent publication. It has gone to the press recently, where the Gupta chronology, the Vakata chronology, the Eastern Vakatakas, the Western Vakatakas, the Traikutakas, the Parivrajakas, the Aulikaras, I have created a timeline. And from that timeline, it appears that these people were invading, and they also came invading to North India, and as well as they came very close to these Ghats. So these caves were disturbed due to that. And what Walter Spink has said that there was a recession, and then there was a hiatus, and the work had stopped, or the fund was compromised. The actual factor was not the local war, which Professor Spink theorized. It was actually the Hunnic invasions. So what I'm trying to say, on one hand, these Hunnic invasions create a great mayhem, tremendous disturbance. On the other hand, it was a benefit for Ajanta, because when those monastics came from Greater Gandhara, they brought certain ideas, and this Mahaparinirvana theme is one of the ideas which they brought from that Bactrian and Greater Gandhara region to Ajanta, and it was introduced not before 467 AD, not before 468 AD. And so when in Cave 26, when they had already done the excavation, a large part was already excavated, the upper half was excavated, the stupa was revealed to some extent, and there was no such plan of any such image on the wall. It was at that point of time when Buddhabhadra decided that this is a very nice theme and it should be depicted. And I even suspect that Buddhabhadra had some kind of connection with the Gandhara region. So Mahaparinirvana is one such theme which was possible to be introduced here because in other caves, the walls were already occupied with narrative painted themes. And here, the painting program had not yet begun. Even Maravijaya theme is also related to the Mula Sarvastivadin scriptures. Okay, so this is something which appears to us based on a very complex set of evidence, which I'm not able to explain here. It is there described in my work, some of my work.